Hello, everyone. Welcome to Grow to Succeed. Today, I am super excited and thrilled to have one of the youngest guests with us today, Mr. Hamza. Before I invite him to quick discussion, I would like to introduce Mr. Hamza. Mr. Hamza is currently studying B.Tech in mathematics and computing at Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, India. His goal is to become a computer scientist. Wow. He has a fantastic purpose. His purpose is to create a better life for everyone and contribute in nation building activities. I am so happy, Mr. Hamza, you are with us today, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. In fact.
Amazing. So, Mr. Hamza, everyone on this planet wants to be successful. Parents want their children to be successful. Teachers want their students to be successful. And every citizen of the country wants the country to be successful and powerful. So, with this, Mr. Hamza, I would like to understand what is success according to you?
I'm glad you asked that question, sir, because I feel it's very important to define success, something which everyone is running behind. So, according to me, a successful person is a person who has the choice to do what they want. Like, that's a vague term, I'll explain it shortly. But consider a poor person who's in the economic constraint. They don't really have the choice to do whatever they want. If they want to contribute in a field which they wished as a child but can't because of some economic constraints, they have
Mhm.
burdens to take care of their family and all those things. And even if you're rich, sometimes that constraint still follows you. Some corporate workers, especially, they have the constraint of time. You know, like working 10 hours a day in many cases. That also does not let you contribute to the society in a way which you had wished. So, according to me, you must amass enough wealth, first of all, so that you are able to contribute whatever you wished as a child. And you also must build your career in a way that you have the choice to decide what you wish to do further. It, it shouldn't be that another person or a corporate is pulling the strings and you are following their orders explicitly. You should have some say, or in ideal case, all of it
Mm.
to decide the processes which you will be working with.
Okay.
And that's a long-term definition, but in the short term, in terms of short-term goals, I guess you could define success as achieving that goal, but in a reasonable time amount and with reasonable resources. People miss that usually. One must not spend a lot, not take away a lot of time in order to achieve something.
All right. Okay. That's a very, very good perspective. And I totally agree what you said, Mr. Hamza. Um, I think if you ask me, you are already a successful person because getting into Indian Institute of Science is really, really not that easy. And the way, the kind of commitment, the kind of um, uh, determination you had to get into one of the top institutions in the country, I am sure you must have come across so many challenges. Can we talk about the different kind of challenges that you came across, and how did you actually overcome those challenges? Maybe you want to share some tips with our subscribers so they can understand how they can also face challenges and then overcome those challenges.
Good question. So, I had the privilege of having a very considerate father. First of all, I would thank him for that, if at all he's watching this. Like, he had spent a lot on my education in the beginning. even though it was not very comfortable to do so. But because of that, I ended up going to a very good school. So initially, I had little to no problems whatsoever. My basics were very strong, alhamdulillah. But the problems began in the later stages, the class 8, 9th, 10th. Those are kind of the beginning of the turning point, in the first turning point, I would say, in the academic life. There are some subjects which I feel are not taught very well in school under the current curriculum which we have been following. Hopefully, that would change because of the NEP. The social sciences need to be taught in a more up-to-date way. I feel it's very important, especially with the changing geopolitical landscape. Um, and I didn't really resonate with that initially when I was, in class 8, 9th. So I faced a lot of difficulty. I couldn't study what I wanted. So as a result, because of no interest, I didn't score that well either. So first, I had to convince myself that this is something which I shouldn't worry about much because I've identified the problem. I know what is wrong with the curriculum and myself, why I'm not able to do that. That's the first step, in fact, in order to overcome any burden. You identify what's going wrong. Secondly, to actually produce the result, getting better marks, I thought, okay, it's a challenge, but I can't do much about it. I can't fight with the system, can't I? Can I? So I had to put in more hours on it. I increased the study time, and because of that, my grades eventually improved. So that was the minor challenge. The major challenge happened in grades 11th and 12th. That's when you prepare for your entrance examinations to enter the good institutes.
Right.
So at that time, actually, my college wasn't fully supportive, I would say. So there were places where something was lacking. So for those things, I had to resort to other sources like online, YouTube, etc. So though I don't advise that to everyone, I'd say you should first look for people who have already succeeded, talk to them, and
Okay.
gather the resources yourselves and decide what to do. I spent hours learning from YouTube videos. That's one
Hmm.
good thing about today's world, that pretty much everything is available online.
Right.
So I did a lot of my last minute study for those exams from YouTube, the last few
Hmm.
weeks and the last 2 months actually. I had studied completely from YouTube, and luckily that worked for me. I was able to do decent in the exams.
Okay.
Now, now that I am in a academic program which is going to challenge even the best of the country,
Hmm.
of course, every day is a struggle in itself. Like you have to learn new things daily. So, of course, I've
Absolutely.
gotten very busy with that. And that is the challenge. I'm still working on that, how to manage my time properly. But so I can't really comment on that as of now.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Hamza, I think um, well said, firstly, because, and I really want to tell all the viewers that parents' contribution in the success of their child is really high. And the parents, your dedication, your commitment in ensuring you give best of the best to your children plays primary role, number one. Number two, consistent encouragement, motivating the children to do better also plays a very, very important role in the student's life. Number three, I think you, Mr. Hamza, did tell a very, very important thing, that is mastering the basics. That's the key message I took from your talk. Okay. Mastering the basics, it's really important. If students are not able to master the basics, then ultimately what will happen is they will end up struggling a lot in understanding the concepts as and when they enter into the higher studies. I think that's a fantastic way of telling, Mr. Hamza. Then finally, utilizing the available resources. And you rightly told, Mr. Hamza, that YouTube, I think it's one of the greatest resources available today.
Without
And
doubt.
we have to use that resource correctly. And the best part, Mr. Hamza, is you never got distracted because you had clarity in mind. You were crystal clear where you wanted to go, what you wanted to do. And I think that kind of helped you to achieve your goal, that is entering into one of the topmost institutions in the country. So, congratulations on that. And thank you so
Thank you.
much for sharing all your insights. Now, Mr. Hamza, I am sure you must have seen a lot of students, a lot of children failing in their academics as well as failing in many other areas of life, right? What do you
Mhm.
think is the reason for them to fail in academics as well as any other area of their life?
So first, I guess we need to define failure the same way we define success. Let's have a solid foundation on that. So
Yeah.
I'd say that failure, first of all, is whatever I said about success, but the opposite. You have no choice. You are burdened with constraints. Secondly, I would like to add that a single instance of failure does not really count as failure as a whole. The actual failure starts only when you consider to give up on whatever goal you've desired. So, about why students actually end up failing in their academics is firstly because the basics aren't clear, as you emphasized. Uh, so, what happens, especially in the connected subjects, which have a linear growth from the basics to the advanced studies like mathematics and science, you really can't expect to do well in grade 10 if you didn't do well in grade 8, let's say. So it's all
Absolutely.
interconnected. You build on whatever you have already learned. So instead of trying to rectify whatever you're unable to do, like people usually memorize ways of just doing this problem, what to write in exam to get marks. Instead of that, I guess you should worry about where you're going wrong and why you're not going wrong. There's always something which you haven't understood about a certain scenario when you're not able to figure out solutions for a problem pertaining to that scenario.
Right.
So when you actually identify what's going wrong and where it's exactly going wrong, you backtrack into where the problem actually started. And then from there, you begin the rectifying process.
Hmm.
You learn what you haven't learned, you read more on what you did not have in your memory committed or in your wiring of the brain. In what way are you having difficulty in thinking?
Right.
So once you get that cleared, it takes some time. It takes a lot of time. In fact, memorizing is usually very shorter compared to whatever I've said. But that's more important, especially if you want to excel in entrance examinations. In regular board exams, it's a matter of writing. Like if you just memorize and write whatever is required, you get a good grade. But
Right.
in entrance exams, they really want the best thinkers of the country, not the
Hmm.
best writers. So those are very challenging. You'll need to think very differently in every question which they pose to you. So your basics must be crystal clear. Secondly, I guess there's a problem with choosing the sources to learn. Sometimes you need to realize that maybe a teacher is not that good. You need to resort to other resources if you're lagging behind. So again, I would say internet is a very good resource. One should always explore a bit to see if they find something which works for them. Again, it's a subjective thing. What may work for one person may not work for other. So you need to identify your resources very carefully and always seek help from your relatives in case they are in similar fields or your friends, in fact. I
Right.
guess in our communities in India, especially, there's a big divide in the friend circles which you study with and the friend circles which you do other things with. I think we need an overlap to develop a better scientific temper in our nation.
Right. Okay. I think a lot of insights you shared, Mr. Hamza. I think that's really, really nice that you shared all these thoughts. So the key message for the viewers here is, um, if you have plans to write entrance examination, it can be NEET or it can be JEE or any other entrance exams. That means you have to do deep learning, right? You have to
Yes.
understand the basic concepts. You have to master the basic concepts. You have to master the core concepts. See, I totally agree what Mr. Hamza said. He did mention that in 10th class, if you can memorize and then can write exam well, then definitely you will get better marks and then you will get better scores. At the same time, if you want to prepare for an entrance examination, that means you have to understand the concepts in depth. Until unless you don't understand the concepts in depth, I don't think so you will be in a position to solve the problems. And again, he did mention that the environment actually plays a very, very important role. It can be different friends, the companions, or it can be the environment in home as well. Because if there is a lot of distraction at home, then ultimately, and there are so many factors for distraction, so I'm not going to get into that, but ultimately, that will have a greater impact on the children. Number one, maybe they will start losing interest on studies. Number two, maybe they will get distracted to such an extent that they will say, no, I don't want to study. Maybe they will find different ways of finding entertainment or doing something else in their life. And they do have lots of abilities which are um, already there in every child. It's something that the parent as well as the teachers have to tap that hidden potential, those abilities. Until unless the parents and teachers don't tap the hidden potential and the abilities, then I am sure the children will find different ways of utilizing those abilities, and to some extent maybe that is not going to help them to achieve success in their life. So thank you so much, Mr. Hamza. Now, because you did tell so many things, Hamza, I'm really curious now to really understand what is your secret formula for success?
Well, to answer that first, I'd like to say that I don't consider myself successful as of now because from what I've defined, success really comes from the freedom of choice, and I think I don't have that yet. I'm still constrained by a very rigorous academic program. I can only do things and contribute as I progress further. I'm still in the learning process and developing as a citizen. So, but what I would like to say is that in order to succeed, and this formula which I'm going to say will also work if you want to figure out what you want to do and
Hmm.
succeed simultaneously. You must give away the mentality that the struggle is temporary. Like it's not that you struggle and work hard for certain time and then you get the reward and after that life is just chill. That's a mentality which a lot of parents and teachers, unfortunately, in our country pose on students that okay, past 10th, your life is set. Then when you come to 11th, they say past 12th, your life is set. Complete your degree, your life is set. But that does not really happen. There's always a further stage. There's always the challenges in your life. You must learn to have enjoyment in the journey.
Hmm.
Like some people may not like studying for an exam. That's fine, but learn to have some curiosity in whatever you're doing, whatever you're even forced to do, in fact. Read more on the topics, figure out a lot of different connected areas, I would say. That helps a lot. Like if you learn something, read about the connected areas. So just keep enjoying the journey. Don't be in the wrong assumption that you struggle for 10 years and the rest 60 years of your life are going to be completely easy. That's not the way it works. Especially I've
Right.
realized that after coming to such a good institute, it just keeps getting harder, in fact.
Hmm.
Face the challenges in a positive way and enjoy the challenges, enjoy learning those experiences, be it good or bad.
Right.
Learn from the experiences in every step. Every step is important. It's not the end goal which you will be achieving. In fact, that can be done in many ways. That can be done in unethical, unlawful ways as well. in many cases. If you want to make money, there are very easy bad ways to do it, but that's not what we want to do.
Right.
You should pay attention to every single development you're making in your career, every single challenge you faced, and keep a track of all these things. I would say maintaining a journal really helps. Like you write down whatever challenge you faced, and you kind of in short describe how you resolve those things, and take a look at those things maybe monthly to
Hmm.
see what you have done. So you know what choices you have made were towards the wrong side and towards the right side. And tracking that really helps. And I think I shouldn't talk about specific academic related things which I practiced. I think that does not work for everybody, and it'll just take up time. I guess the key insight is more important. I would like to conclude on that.
Okay. All right. So amazing insights, Hamza. I think the key takeaway for me and dear friends, it's consistency, right? So it's all about
Mm.
being consistent. It's all about consistently learning, consistently dedicating yourself, consistently putting that extra efforts, doing things consistently to achieve your goals, your dreams is what is going to help you a lot. Because according to me, success is not a destination. Success is a journey, right? Success is a process. Success is a journey, and success cannot be a destination. And rightly, like Mr. Hamza said, see, after 10th, it's done. No, right? So again, there is a target to become a topper, to achieve things in class 11, class 12, and then again, there is something else. So there has to be goals in every walk of your life. You should have the immediate goal, the short term goal, mid-term goal, long-term goal, and most importantly, people forget about the lifetime goal. What do you want to do in your lifetime? That matters a lot, right? So I'm sure Mr. Hamza has a purpose, and the lifetime goal starts with a purpose in your life. If you don't have a purpose in your life, that means maybe you will have the long term goal. That's it. But you may not have the lifetime goal, right? So please start also focusing on creating or designing a lifetime goal, because that will give you 100% clarity on what do you really want to do after you become a computer scientist, after you become a scientist in a different area, after you become a top engineer, doctor, lawyer, officer, entrepreneur, whatever you want to become in your life. You need to have a purpose in every walk of your life. If you don't have a purpose, that means you have no clarity on what you really want to do, right? So, dear friends, thank you so much for joining with us today. And I truly respect the fact that Mr. Hamza, in his busy time, he took some valuable time out of his time and then spent the time with us to share his experience, to share his thought processes, to share his perspectives. And I am sure, Mr. Hamza, your thoughts, your perspectives will be truly helpful for all the students, parents who are watching this video, who will be watching this video definitely. And I'm sure they will start applying all those practices, and then maybe they will try to overcome those challenges. They will try to utilize all the existing available resources so that they can start finding their right goals, and then maybe start entering into one of the top institutions in the country as well as on this planet, and then become the best of the best in whatever they do, and make their parents proud, make their family proud, make their country proud, and represent the country at the international levels. So thank you so much, Mr. Hamza. Truly valuable time. I think I really enjoyed having this conversation with you. Thank you so much for joining us with us today. And I am sure our paths will cross soon. Again, once you become the computer scientist, Mr. Hamza, I will be reaching out to you again. So please, let's stay in touch. And then yes, let's make the country really proud. So thank you so much once again.
And I'd like to conclude with a saying which I saw on the internet. Unfortunately, I don't know the author.
Mhm.
But throughout our discussion, we had discussed about contributing to the society. So just to emphasize on that a little bit, one must return to the society what they've taken from it, be it in form of money, be it in form of resources or talent which has been nurtured to you. You must return all of that to the society. If you excelled well in academics, you must make sure that your further generation also excels. If you've amassed a very good business, or you have a lot of uh, money, you must make sure that your further generations are also able to reach the same stages.
Amazing.
Okay, I'd like to
Wow.
conclude.
That's really awesome, Mr. Hamza. And I'm sure, you will definitely make our nation proud in the future. And then I am sure you will contribute whatever way possible. You will definitely contribute to the society, to the communities, and definitely you will start contributing in nation building activities. So all the very best. And I'm sure, you will make us proud. So let's stay in touch. Thank you so much and have a fantastic day. Bye for now.
Thanks for having me.